talk about your other new players along with that.
Sure, you bet. We have Janelle Sykes as a middle blocker from the DC area. Really athletic kid. Hasn't been playing volleyball very long, but is really growing. A very intelligent young lady. And we feel like she'll be a contributor too. Those are the two freshmen that we feel like will contribute this year. We have a raw athlete that came in from Jersey named Uzumaki Ibe, and that's a name everybody should just remember, because in a year or two she's going to be tearing it up. She's just unbelievable athlete and great work ethic, good attitude. She's going to be fun. We brought in two other players that are going to really contribute this year that are not freshmen, and that's Amanda Friday. She transferred from the University of Tennessee. She played a lot for 3 years at Tennessee, graduated early, and she's from Northern Virginia, and she got into grad school here in Lucky VCU. We get to have her on our team this year. Dynamic, really hardworking, very stable, mature young lady, and she plays in the defensive position also. So she's really going to help us also this year. I expect to see her on the court some this year. The other young lady's name is Jennifer Harvey. She's an incoming freshman in medical school. She graduated from Virginia Tech and was an All-American soccer player, great athlete and great competitor. She'll just run through the wall, everything. And so she's really adding a lot to us too, also a defensive player. And so we were really focusing on improving our defense and ball control for the season. And I think we've got the right personnel to do that.
Kate from the Beach asks, can you talk about your general recruiting philosophy with your program?
Well, this is kind of a cliche, but I don't know how to get around it. But we're just looking for the right players. First thing we are looking for is athleticism. Then next is character. And then we go to skill, okay? Because we believe we can turn somebody into a really good volleyball player, but you can only make them jump so high, and you can only make them so fast. But for somebody to become a good volleyball player, they have to have great character, and the team chemistry on our team is probably the most important thing that we deal with. And so we want the right kids that fit into the chemistry of our team.
You talked about it briefly. Brian from Chesterfield asked, when you're out at these tournaments looking for recruits, other than the obvious physical talent, you mentioned character, what are some intangibles that you look at that athletes make?
This is a good question, because I think a lot of people don't understand what we look at, and I wish potential athletes, college athletes knew this. I look at how a player interacts with their team, how they interact with their coach, and also how they interact with their parents. Because in volleyball, parents are around all the time. And a kid that's, barking at their parents, asking them to go get me this and go get me that, I'm pretty much going to shy away from. How if they have body language that's appropriate to their teammates, or if they get frustrated with their teammates, those are the kind of things we look. And then just work ethic. How hard do you work out there, whether you're winning or losing? And I think a lot of times players don't understand that somebody's watching them all the time.
Barry from Henrico asks, we saw you guys use both a 6-1 and a 5-2 lineup last year. Which do you prefer and why? Do you plan on using both again this year, or do you plan on using just one?
This is the most difficult question there is. Thanks a lot, Barry. I appreciate this. It really depends on our personnel every year. I don't go into the season with a preconceived idea of which way I'm going to do it. One factor is, do we have two right sides that we need to have on the court? If that's the case, then we want to look at running two setters. The other is, do we have two setters that are at the quality that they can both run the offense? So that's another factor that we might play in there. And then the one thing like this year is we have a senior middle, Courtney Hott, that's from Fredericksburg, and she's really has become a phenomenal player. And she's really good off of 1 foot. So just with having that type of player on our team, I probably would have to say I'm leaning towards running a 5-1, because we want her to be able to run behind on 1 foot, and we can't do that in a two-setter offense.
Rob from Richmond asks, which player do you think made the greatest strides during the spring season?
Kristen Boyd. And I probably say that every year. Because Kristen is Uzumaki, the new kid coming in from Jersey, is our new Kristen Boyd. And when Kristen came in, she played volleyball for 1.5 years, and just so much to learn. And every year's gotten better and better, and now she is a redshirt junior. So this is actually her 4th year in the program, but she still has 2 years to play. I'm so excited. She is absolutely just become a phenomenal volleyball player, and she's our team captain now. She's got all the intangibles. She's just really become a mature young woman, and she just touched 10-6, and she can hit over the double block, and she hits the ball hard. She's got good volleyball skill, and that came around because she's been a 3-rotation player for us, only playing in the front row, blocking and hitting. And she's been working so hard for 3 years. Like, Coach, I want to play all the way around. I want to pass and hit out of the back row. Wow, we played Duke and North Carolina and Virginia Tech this spring, and they just couldn't stop her. They didn't have an answer for her hitting out of the back row. And so we're pretty excited because I think Kristen's finally going to get to play 6 rotations.
Liz from Richmond asks, what area would you like to see the team improve upon the most this upcoming year?
Well, I think going into this season, absolutely, hands down, as we talked about, ball control. We wanted our team to become more efficient with tempo, passing the ball out of serve receive, free ball, digging the ball, and making sure we got more balls to target, because we have very efficient hitters. But for our offense to really click, we need to have good ball control. So I think, without a doubt, and that's what our recruiting shows. I mean, we brought 3 new defensive players in to try to help shore that up.
But Rusty from Maryland said, it would appear that Kristen Boyd is poised for a breakout season. Would you agree? Which obviously you have. So talk about what makes her a special player.
Well, you know, there's not only a few kids in the whole country that have the same kind of athleticism as Kristen, but I think right now what's really helping her come out is her maturity. You know, she's really grown into it, and she's taken ownership. She feels she has enough knowledge now of the game that her confidence has really improved. But our team will follow her. I mean, they respond to her, they respect her, and not just because she can get up and crush a ball or has a big block, but because she takes care of everybody. So if anybody's has a problem, anything's going on, somebody needs help with something, Kristen's always the person there. And she works harder than anybody in the weight room. She works hard on the court every day, and she really has a positive attitude. So when you get feedback from her, she'll hold you accountable, but she does it in a very positive manner, and the girls really respond to that.
Ted from our online chat just asked, how did your camp go, and how do you guys run that throughout the summer?
Oh, camp's fun. I guess I get excited about a lot of things. I really enjoy camp a lot. I know a lot of coaches have a camp, but they're not really there.
Yeah.
I'm there from start to finish every day. I'm on the court working with the kids and the teams and the coaches. I just really like to teach the sport. We had a really good camp this summer. Our advanced skills camp, which is our most difficult camp, it's much more like being in a college practice. You have at least 9 hours a day that you're working your tail off. And we have a lot of kids that are just like, oh, I've never worked so hard in my life. And but it's so much fun, and you really grow and you accomplish a lot, and you get to interact with the staff. So that camp and our team camp particularly, you get a lot of interaction with area coaches, area volleyball players, student athletes, parents, and that's really been good. And camp for us is about teaching skills, about getting people involved, but obviously it's a good recruiting tool as far as you have a lot of kids in your gym you get to evaluate and you get to see. And we actually had 2 of our recruits for 2012 that came to camp this year, and both of them committed well. So, great.
It works. Ryan from Charlottesville, can you just talk about your scheduling philosophy? You seem to have really bulked up on your opponents in the past couple of years.
Yeah, this is one of the things that we decided as a staff that we were going to bite the bullet last year. And I probably might have taken on more than I should have last year as far as the first step in this process. But, you know, the year before we had 27 wins, and it was a great season, and yet we still didn't get an at-large bid. And we were ranked in the top 5 in the region. We had all the pieces that we thought were there. We beat a top 40 team the last match of the season in Pittsburgh, and we didn't get that at-large bid. So, you know, we looked at it, and I talked to a lot of coaches around the country, and one of the things they said is that we needed to have more top 25, top 30, you know, teams on our schedule. So we didn't back off last year. We went crazy. And it was really funny because when we got through, I was really worried about the dynamic of my team with the confidence level and those kind of things. But when we got through with the season, we had a good season. Didn't finish where we wanted to, but we had a good year. And I talked to the girls afterwards, and I said, what do you want as a team? Did you like the schedule? Do we need to back off? What do we need? And I mean, absolutely unanimously, without even a waiver from anybody, it's like, please don't change the schedule. This was the greatest thing that ever happened to us, because we know we can play with these teams now. You know, our match with Colorado State last year, where we lost in 5 and they were ranked 11th in the country, and you know, and the 3 games in the middle were all 25-23. We won one, they won one, we won none, and then we went into the tiebreaker. Those are the kind of things, taking Arizona State to 5. You know, and they saw that we had opportunities that we should have won in 4. We should have never even been in the 5th game. But those are the kind of things that ultimately, over the big course, build confidence. So with that, we have a great schedule this year. And we also have a home and away starting next year with Minnesota. We play at Minnesota in 12. They're here in 13. And next year, Ohio State's coming here to return. So we have Ohio State at home in Middle Tennessee. And we're going to Pittsburgh next year also. So the scheduling's not changing. We're just actually adding to it, and we're getting some home and aways, and we're getting where more and more of these type of teams want to play us. And I think this is really the key, another key in our conference, getting that extra bid. But also for us, we just want to be in a position that no matter what happens on the last weekend, we know we're going to the NCAA. That's our ultimate goal.
How will you account for the loss of Kelsey Clegg in the middle of this season?
You know, it's funny because you have things that are just, they're irreplaceable. You can't replace them. You have to just find a different way to do it. Courtney Hott, as we talked about earlier, is just doing a phenomenal job, hands down. Offensively, probably one of the best offensive middles we've ever had at VCU. So I'm really excited about that. You know, having a big 6'4" block in there, we're going to miss that. The thing that's fun is that Jasmine Waters, who is the same size as Kelsey, but actually out-jumps Kelsey and generates more offense than her. I think Jasmine has the opportunity between this year and next year to break Kelsey's block record. She's just a good natural blocker. She hits the ball incredibly hard, and same thing, just growing into the game. So I'm really excited. I think that is our combination that potentially will have us in a better scenario, but it's going to be completely different. I mean, Kelsey was a very smart, very disciplined, very controlled player. And Jasmine is one of those players, like even last year as she got more and more playing time as the year, you know, she'd have a game where she hit 800, and then she'd hit 680 in this game, and then she'd hit 200, you know, and so it was more up and down, but as she becomes more and more consistent, which she has this year growing, I'm excited for her to put up some really big numbers this year.
Kathy from Hanover, what do you think is the most important quality in a coach?
I think for me, it has to do with your ability to have a positive relationship with your players. You know, it doesn't really matter to a large degree what system you use. It's about, can you motivate your kids to be better than they think they can be? I think that's the key. And the only way to do that is to have a relationship with them where they trust you to push them beyond the line. Because if somebody doesn't trust you, you can push them to the line and then they're going to push back. And so I think that's it, is having the relationship that they know that what I'm doing for them is for their benefit, to get the best out of them. And even when they don't want to go the extra rep or the extra step or whatever else, they'll do it and they'll learn and they'll grow, and then we feel good about it, and there's a positive response, and when we leave the gym that they know they got better.
We have a couple fun quick fire questions
to
wrap up today. Favorite restaurant in Richmond?
Oh my gosh, probably Roland's.
Last movie you saw in a theater?
The Green Lantern.
Favorite sport to play other than volleyball?
Other than volleyball, wow. It's like got me there because it's like, what do I play besides volleyball? I don't know. This is probably cheesy, but I like to bike, mountain bike. How about that?
Favorite vacation spot?
Ireland.
Wow. This may be a tough one, but if you could have dinner with any three living people, who would it be?
First, without doubt, Barack Obama. That would be my first. Let's see. From there, Michael Jordan. Okay. Living people. I'm getting stumped here. Okay. Those two definitely. Misty May.
And then we'll just go quick here. Chocolate or vanilla?
I'm sorry?
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Beach or the mountains?
Mountains.
Sitcom or reality TV?
Sitcom.
Fan or Choco Slip?
Fan.
Facebook or Twitter?
Neither.
That's right. I knew when we put that question, I knew you were going to ask that question. I knew you were going to answer that. Coach, thanks for joining us today. Next week we'll have Joey Rodriguez. Again, thanks for joining at VCUathletics.com.
Thanks, Scott.